Episode 16. Abused Child. No. Serena did not give them any hope. He did not touch me. Hearing that, Mrs. Clark became a bit worried. He did not touch you. But isn't there anything you can do? What can I do? Rape him? Mrs. Clark said helplessly. Anyway, you cannot lose the face of our family. Why did you think Captain Henrik let you marry his grandchild? It was only because your mother saved his life when she was young. Otherwise, it would not have been you. In the end, we were the ones who got you back from the slam dunk. Now you have become rich. But do not forget to be grateful to us. At the very least, you must find a relative of the Robinson family for your cousin. I heard that Mr. Jake still has a brother that is single. Get his schedule for me. Even without a schedule, some other information will do. Invite your cousin over to the Robinson family from time to time, so that they can meet each other. I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? After all the things Mrs. Clark said, Serena nodded calmly. Arya was pissed at the look of Serena. She grunted and said, My dad should have told Captain Henrik that I was the daughter of my aunt. If it were me, I would never bring such shame to the family. It seems that you really want to marry him. How about I get a divorce with him, and you marry him? Serena stated. And then you can go get a fake DNA report. Tell them you are the daughter of Melina Clark, and I am an orphan. Is that even better? Arya's eyes brightened at the joke. Even Mrs. Clark seemed to be enlightened. Seeing that, Serena couldn't help sneering inwardly. That was how they had treated her in her previous life. Faking the DNA results and sending it to the Robinson family to tell everyone she was an orphan, and Arya was actually Melina Clark's daughter. The Clark couple had only adopted their sister's daughter because they couldn't have a baby themselves. The only goal was to make Arya Jake's wife. At the time, it caused a huge turmoil. Everyone they knew heard that Jake's wife was from a questionable background. However, the Robinson family did not want to be ashamed, created a fake identity for Serena, and Captain Henrik did not want the couple to divorce. The Clark family's agenda was rendered in vain, and they soon went through bankruptcy because of the revenge of the Robinson family. Serena brought that up somewhat sarcastically. However, the family was considering what she was saying. You're willing to divorce him? Arya felt incredulous. How is that possible? Haven't you always been bragging about your marriage? When did I ever brag? Serena rebutted. Arya was speechless. Indeed, Serena did not brag, but her silence was enough to make everyone jealous. I will not spend a long time together with him. A divorce will happen sooner or later, Serena said matter-of-factly, as if it was a trivial matter. Hearing Serena's words, Stephen frowned, seeming to be contemplating whether she meant it. Sitting across Serena, Mrs. Clark suddenly changed her look and said, What are you talking about? You are married and it is bad luck to talk about divorce. Isn't it what you're going for? Serena clearly saw Mrs. Clark's change of expression, guessed something, pretended that she did not notice, and smiled. I can divorce Jake. You can let my cousin marry him. Claim she is my mother's biological daughter. Use her to find out the secret about the Robinson family, and then take over the properties of the Robinson family. Isn't that the perfect plan? The more Stephen listened to her, the more feasible he found the plan to be. However, he also felt something was wrong. Turning his head, he saw his wife was making a look at him. Feeling ominous, Stephen looked up and suddenly hit the table. What are you talking about? How is that even possible? As he cried out loud, Stephen suddenly became pale. his eyes fixed on a figure behind Serena. Serena turned back and pretended to be startled. She quickly bowed her head, as if she was caught red-handed. However, she had known Jake was behind her a while ago and deliberately said all that. Weren't they planning to do it anyway? She was just bringing that up earlier. After all, Serena was probably saving the Clarks family's ass. In her previous lifetime, they had ended up in bankruptcy and being homeless in the end. However, the Clark family had no idea about that and hated Serena at this point. Stephen was complaining inwardly. As he was about to explain, the servant walked over and said, "Sir, madam, the food is ready to be served." Hearing that, Stephen quickly said, "Finally, let's go and have lunch." Lunch? He thought he could stomach any food. Serena suddenly felt amused. Her uncle was so hypocritical. Jake noticed how delighted Serena was and suddenly understood something. Without pointing it out, he walked to the dining table coldly. During lunch, except for Serena and Jake, everyone was trembling. Trying to be a good host, Stephen was feeling extremely nervous. He had no idea how much of the conversation Jake had heard. If he had only heard Serena's words, that was fine. Stephen could argue that it was only her speculation. However, if he had heard what the whole family said, then it was really up to Jake. Feeling worried, Stephen felt like the lunch lasted a century. After more than half an hour, Jake finally put down his spoon. Feeling relieved, Stephen also put the spoon down, ready to say goodbye. However, someone was not playing along. Holding her spoon and eating slowly, Serena was so carefree that she did not fit into the atmosphere. Scolding his niece inwardly, Stephen wondered if she had any idea what she had done. However, they had no idea that Serena wanted them to suffer. Arya could not stand it and urged, "Have you finished or not? Mr. Robinson has finished already. You are just procrastinating." Serena glanced at her, looking sullen, and whispered, "But I have not had enough." Serena looked like an abused child that had not been fed for a long time.